So today we'll be seeing a new topic which is modularization technique in SAP ABAP. Okay. So what is modularization in our SAP ABAP? Okay. So let's see, we have created these programs, right? In SAP, we saw some example of ALB reports. We saw some example of loops and messages. So there we have created such programs like we selected the select data and then we write our processing logic and then later on we called our ALB or some other logic which we have written. So so that thing is written in single program. Okay, and when we have like a number of lines or code is very big, okay, say 10,000 or 5,000 lines of code, so it's very hard for the other SAP technical person to read the code directly, and when we are doing debugging and all those things, so that is not suitable. And the another use of the modulation can be that we are dividing the code in some parts. Okay, and some parts can be used in some other programs also, so that we call it as global code, we can say. Okay, that we can use in some other programs as well. Okay, so this is one of the use for that modulation technique. Okay, the next can be then it's easy to debug actually when we have dividing the code in the parts and we are not we getting some kind of dump or data is not being corrected, so that time it's easy to debug. Okay, and then we are writing this code again and again in all the programs. Let's suppose we have 5 programs and we have to write similar kind of logic in all those 5 programs, so we don't have to write it 5 times. Okay, so what we can do is we can write it one time only, and then we can create it globally either in methods or in include, and then we can call that in our main programs. Okay, so these are the main use actually we do in that system. Okay, so we'll be taking one example from ALB. I think we have created one ALB report. So let's see. If not, then we'll create one more program or G messages also. We can take it here. We have written bit of code. Okay. So this is the program we can say can be used for our modularization. Okay. So how we can modularize it? So the main thing is that we have to break this program in some parts. Okay, some parts means that it is being like it should work the way it is currently working. Okay, it should not have what we call, it should not misbehave. The program, what the output we want to see or the message we want to print, it should work the same way, but we are dividing that part in some programs. Okay, so there are some techniques. Okay, so I'll be writing down those techniques, or let's say let's create one new programs. Okay, first, so what we'll do is Z modularization. Okay, so demo. So this I'll be creating a program for demo, and then demo program for modularization techniques. So always try to give meaningful name. Okay, I will save it in the local object. Okay, so first let me create one small program to display ALP. Okay, so just be there with me, and then we'll be using the modulation technique, how we can achieve that. Okay, so first we have to create local structure. So I'll say LT-Mara. Okay, begin of LT-Mara. We'll take 2 3 fields. So when I'll take Metner, type Metner. Next I'll take MTART. Third I can take ERSTA. Okay, these 3 fields will be taking, and then we'll be closing the structure. Okay, then we'll create some local tables. LT-Mara, type table of TY-Mara, and then WA-Mara, type TY-Mara. Okay, so we have created this also. Now we have to create our we have to select the data, right? So let's select Metner. We have to fetch the data from the table Mara, right? So select Metner, then MTART, then ERSTA from Mara. Okay, and then into table LT which we have created locally. Okay, and we have not given anything for where condition, so let's create one parameter as well. So after the data statement we'll be getting one parameter, so where we'll take values. Okay, select options, we'll be using it. So we'll be taking material number as an input. Okay, for Mara Meitner. So here it will not allow us to create this because Mara is not called explicitly. We have to call tables and then Mara. Okay, so this we have already learned why we are using this. So now it's fine, and then we can give the where condition here, wher where Meitner in S Meitner. Okay, so once we get the input data from the table, so if size of RC is 0, okay, then what you have to do is sort the table. So what's the table name, which is LT Mara, okay, ascending by Mechner. So this we have created. Okay, now this will fetch the information for us. If any check, okay, name should end of begin of. Okay, so we have given wrong name here. So let me change it to TY Mara. Yeah, and check. So there is no error. It's a warning. We can ignore it. Now we might get the data based on the selection screen. Let's activate it. And then now we'll be creating the field catalog, right? So what we can do here is, this is simple basic I'm creating. Okay, now we have to define three fields, right? We have to use a celeste field, and we have to use our ALB types of structure we have to create. So for that we have to create, right? So just give me a second, let me copy it from the other program. Just be there, please. So we'll be creating one field catalog for these three fields, and then we'll be calling the program with that. Okay, so I have copied from this program which we have created earlier. Yeah, so these are the two things which we required, right? So after the data I'll be using that LT field get type celeste field get, and then this one also. So this we created, and then later on we'll just end it. Okay, so these are the work area, and one is the table type. Okay, so we have created these thing, then we have to, what we have to do is we have to fill the field catalog, right? We have to create the structure so that it can be used in our ALB report, right? So what all the things which is we having, we have such fields like, first let's clear this work area ls field catalog. Okay, and then we have to start with column position, right? So column position equals to 1. Then we have next, what is the second thing which we have available is field name, right? So we'll be using the property of field name or the field. So what's the field name here is, we'll be giving Meitner. Okay, then end it. And the next thing is we have to give the tab name, right? So tab name we can give Altimara. Okay, and then we have next one which is our cell text, right? So we can give medium. Okay, here, and we can give material number. And what's the last which is left out? So I think these are the things, four fields we mostly basically use. Then what we'll do at the last, we append this structure to the table lt underscore field get, and later on clear is ls field catalog, right? So likewise we'll do for all three fields, right? So copy this and paste it. So we'll be taking number two, field name is mtart, and the table name is same, and this was material type. Okay, this one is third, and then the field name is ERSTA. Material number is this is, I'll say, creation date. Okay, so we have created the work area field catalog for this. Now we have to call our ALB, right? So we are just checking here if Altimara is not initial, or we can do this check in the top itself. Okay, so if it is not initial, then only go for field catalog, otherwise it will not, do not go for that. So we can do this here also. Okay, so now we'll be calling with pattern, and then we use reuse ALB grid display. Just call that program here. Okay, then we give this program name here. I call back program name, which is our current program name we can give, or say rep id also we can give. Okay, so I'm just giving the name here, and then we have a field kit. So we have to give the field kit name lt field kit. Okay, and what else we give here, the table name, which was the table we are passing here, right? So the table name is lt mara. So let's take it from here. So save it and check it, so there is no error, and activate it. If you just execute, see, we have not given the label here, so we are getting as Metner. That also we can change. Text element, selection text, we can go and check mark this thing. Okay, so it will take the standard which is there in this table. Just activate it and save it. Now if we'll execute it, okay, now we can give 1 to 10. We are not giving much number, so we are getting the output as all the materials which is there in 1 to 10 range actually. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 are coming now. So now let's suppose you are going to have, see, this is only line of code, I'll say 120 line of code is there, but in some cases we can have 500 or 1000 or 10,000 lines of code, and sometime going through scrolling it and doing the debugging, it does not make sense actually, and it's a bit hard to do this actually. So what we do is we divide this code in some parts actually. Okay, so we can divide this much part, this declaration part in one part. Okay, then select can be divided in this one part actually. Okay, and field catalog can be divided in one part, in one module or subroutine we call it. Okay, or this part can be called in one thing actually. So let's see how we do it. Okay, so total we have four ways, 4 to 5 ways to do this. Okay, so first way, one is we create the subroutines. Okay, subroutines. Second way of doing it, we create the include programs. Okay, third way we have function modules. Okay, we create the function modules for repetitive work. Okay, if we are thinking that it can be used multiple places. And then we have class methods. Okay, so which can be called multiple times. So these are the way we mostly use to do this. Okay, subroutines are mostly used in the programs, and we are not storing it. We can store it as globally also and can utilize for other programs, but we'll not see that example. We'll see how to use it in the local program. Includes programs are like we are storing it in a DB actually, in the DDIC. It's a include program is stored as part of program itself. Like when we come to SE38, that time we are seeing one option here, right? So when we are creating any program, so that time we see one option over here, see, type of, right, include program. So it's stored in the DB and can be accessed further okay, for other programs as well. If you have same kind of structure or data, or you don't you want to use some of that feature or some declaration, so that we can use uh, in the include programs here. Okay, so that is one of the use. So these I'm going one by one. Okay, I'm not telling everything in one shot. So wherever we are using the program type, that time I'll be teaching where to use which one. Okay, so that will be easy to understand. Okay, how we are linking it, so that it will be easy to remember actually. Okay, so we'll just go back and we'll focus on the main program. So now we have created this, okay, and okay, so I was telling the function module, okay, so function module also is a kind of modularization technique, okay. We have multiple kind of function modules available, so that we learn in the function module section, but for timing, we'll just see how to use this one. So function module, let's suppose we have to use the sum of two numbers, okay, and you have 10 programs to write the logic, okay. So you will not be writing a plus b in the all the 10 programs. So what you can do is you can just simply call this and then pass the value, okay, it will give you the output. So that kind of thing we can use in the function module, and we have like several uh, we can use it for several use also, like we are going to write some kind of code which insert the data based on some logic, that also we can do on the modulation tech in the function module. Now the fourth one is class and methods. So so this is a oops concept actually. To do the modulation, so what we do is there's one class available, one T code called SE24, okay. So here we create the object. Actually, we can create classes here. Okay, so if I just want to create G demo class, okay. So in this class, we have options like methods and C interface and class we can create. So if you want to use the class, we can create class. Inside that, we can, okay. So it's creating a class, and that's why it's taking a bit time. Let's wait for it. Yeah. See here, we have methods available here, which can be reutilized in other programs with the help of this class name actually. So if I say if some G class is available, we can look for it. See, there are some existing people, they have created some classes. Okay, if I select one of the class, there will be some methods. Okay, this is interface. So let's check some other thing. Okay, first above class, someone has created this as example. Okay, so this is the instant method. So this can be utilized. See, inside that they have written the some kind of code. Like if you want to write only the statement, okay, so directly you can call this method, and then this work will be done based on that parameters which we are passing it. Okay, so these are four types of sub modulation technique we use in our day-to-day life actually. Okay, so let's create it and how we can utilize. So first one is that how to use the subroutines. Okay, so for that we have a statement. We have to use a statement called perform and form. So how to use it? Let's suppose we are not going to create that here. Okay, so first that in perform, it behaves like a local thing. Okay, so locally in the program. So if you want to perform select, right, so what we can do is perform, okay, and then fetch data. So we have to give some name, meaningful name like that. Okay, so if I just simply double click on that, okay, it will say subroutine does not exist, create object. So if I'll say yes, okay, now it will ask me, are you going to create a new include for that, or we can use the same this program name, right, this program name which we are seeing inside this program only we can create it, or you can create a new include program. Inside that this will be placed in. So we have two options over here. Okay, so we'll be choosing it for the now the first option or second option, which is inside the program only. So at the last of the program this block will be inserted. See here, here the program was over, right, 128, and at the last this place of code was given actually. Okay, so what we can do here is that this much piece of code we'll just take it, okay, and we can paste it here in this subroutine. Okay, and just simply save it, check it, and activate it. So in this time you have to make sure you are using the global variables. So here the variables make some problem. So global variables only works in the subroutines. Okay, so that you have to use clearly. So see here, now that much piece of code is replaced by only one line of code. Okay, but this is written. Okay, this is not gone. That also we have to write, but it is like hidden. Okay, so when you want to do some kind of debugging, what you can do is that you can directly come in this point. Okay, you can give your breakpoint over here directly. So that will make you too easy actually to do the debugging. Okay, and to read the code. Now we are going to fetch this information, like we are creating the field catalog. This also you can create in single thing actually. So let me create the another one. So perform. Okay, we can give some meaningful name, field cat. Okay, and that's all. So if I simply double click on that, again it will ask me it is not available, do you want to create it? So we'll say yes, and then this time we'll use the include program. See here, if I just click the first one itself, then one new include program will automatically gets generated, and we have to save that in the local. See here, the statement will be inserted. So okay, now it will ask me to save it in local object. So yeah, so it has been created. Now we cannot see the our program over here. Okay, but if I go back, see here, where is that one? It is not over here, but if I just double click on that, it will guide me to that include. See, so how to access this include over here is that we can double click on that. Okay, copy the name, and if you go to main SE38 screen, here we can give the include name. Okay, see, program name is this. This is a include. If I just click on the display mode, see, we came to that include actually. Okay, so that's how we can access it. So let's go to our program, and we can use this including directly in our program also. Okay, if you want to use it, I'll show you that way as well. So that will be an include program part. So I'll show you that also. So to do a single like single task, there are many ways available that based on the practice we do actually. So some people like to do like this, some people use the same program. So that depends. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just take this much part of code for field catalog. Okay. And then I'll paste it in the field cat perform itself. So it's like a code hiding we are doing. Okay. So it looks code actually when we are seeing the code, when someone reads our code, someone is doing some testing. Okay. So that makes easy actually. So it's activated. There is no error. So let's activate the program. Okay. So see here now we can see only how much line of code is available, 94. This is we can ignore for now because this is the perform we have used, but this include has come over here because we have included this include in our program. Okay, so if you want to use remove this also, that is also possible. Okay, how we can do is we can create one perform. Okay, and we can use if mara is not initial perform display data. Okay, so just save it and let's copy the code directly. Okay, and till how science of RC is not there. Okay, cut it. Okay, and then display the data. Yes. So it's asking, do you want to create a new include again? No, we are not going to create. So we'll use the old include only. Okay, which we have already created. See, if I use the second option, it will paste the code in the main program itself, but it will create the form. But if I use the include, so which is existing include we have, and it is saying you want to create a new includes. No, we are not going to use a new include. So it's fine. So save it, and it will create one block. See here, form and form. Inside this block only we have to write, and it will execute actually. Okay, so save it, check it, and activate it. See, we are breaking that code in module, and that's why it's called modulation technique. See, now how much code we have available. See, earlier we have almost 100 plus lines of code. Now it's just 40 only lines, right? 41 lines we have. Or if I remove this, only 39 line of code. Okay, but if someone wants to come, okay, what is happening over here, then what else, like if your lead or someone or the user wants to see what is happening in the program, what he'll do, okay, he'll just come here, okay, so fetch data is happening, okay, then field kit data is, they are making the field kit, okay, if everything is fine, they are displaying the data. So with this much code they can read and see, okay, this is the happening actually. And let's suppose you want to do some kind of data insert, or you want to do some operations here, so you can do that also, like perform data cleaning. Okay, so that is also you can do. Okay, you can perform like insert data based on some transaction, you are inserting some data. Okay, so after display you are inserting the data. Okay, or you can say you are saving data. Okay, so you can create one data for save data also. So the user or the developer or the function, whoever is seeing your code, or you are only debugging your code, you can directly come and put the debugger, like if you get some error or something. Okay, because it is not allowing us to create it. Why? Because we are not creating it, we have just declared it, so we have to double click and create it. So there is one more way also we can create it. How? That we'll just take this program name. Okay, and we can go to SEAT. Okay, here we can give our program name. Okay, right click on that and then create. And then here we have option called subroutines. Okay, this is also one of the way if you want to create some subroutine, but mostly developer, they create directly from the program. See, here also we are seeing that option only. See, create a new include, or use the same main program, or use the existing include which was we have a created earlier. So this is also one of the way you can create it, but here you have to give the subroutine name. Okay, that will be created and you can place your code over there. Okay, so we are not using it, okay, directly in the program only. We just double click and then we get the subroutines available in section actually. Okay, so this is one of the way we create it. And we can also put this in what we call in some include, we post it mostly, but we are not, we use the subroutine for some logic or some display data only. But table declaration, data declaration, all those things we use directly in the include part actually. So we'll see that in the include section. Okay, so in subroutine, this is like we are just performing some task. Okay, we are performing some task based on the flow actually. Okay, now there are some variation available for the subroutines. Okay, what are the variations? So like we can send some value. Okay, we can call this part piece of code. Okay, and we can send some value and we can expect some data. Like you might have seen that in your C programming somewhere, that we use function and it gives us some return value, all those things. So accordingly we can also do here also. So we have some parameters available, like we can send some value like changing. Okay, we can send using, we can use the table thing. Okay, all those things we can do here. Okay, in program also we use when we are creating this subroutine globally. Okay, then we can use it in directly in program. Okay, so I'll show you simple example how to use these parameters. Okay, so this is actually the way we use the subroutine currently. Okay, so let's comment this code. If I just comment this code, let's see what happens. Okay, if I'm include doing the comment for that, and let's check the syntax, it will not give any error. Okay, why? Because we have not done anything and it is there in the module in this FM actually. Okay, so it will not give me any error. If I just double click on that, it will redirect me to that code of piece which we have written in the include section. Okay, see here. So now what I'm doing is that I don't want to display this information for now, and we are seeing some variation of model subroutines. Okay, so how to use that? So if I want to, what we are going to do is that based on this as maintainer. Okay, What we can do here, because as maintainer is globally available. Okay, let's create some local variable. Okay, data local constant will create. Okay, lc maintainer type maintainer value, and then I'll send the value as 0, 0. Okay, I have created a local constant with maintainer type and having a value as number 25. Okay, so what we'll do now is that we'll send this material number and we'll take the output. Okay, we'll not use this as maintainer itself. Okay, so how to use that here is that either directly I can use what we can use here is, if I go to fetch data. Okay, just because it's mentioned globally, we can utilize it. So if I just go to fetch data, comment this part of code. Okay, and maintainer equals to okay, lc maintainer. If I directly use this, we will get the data. Okay, we will get the data, and if I want to display here, it will display the data as well. So let's see that output. I'll show you what we are planning to do. So if I don't give any value here, simply execute, it will give me the 25 number, right? Because we are giving it hard coded, that whatever the value we are filling does not matter, but give the constant value and get the output, right? So that we are doing here is, then, okay, what we can do is we can pass this information now, just because it is in global program, so we cannot use it here. What we can do, using lc maintainer. Okay, okay, so in the first data, we'll create one more subroutine. Okay, that's how we can use that statement part actually, because that is the global variable. Whatever we are declaring there, it's a global actually. So it's behaving like that. So let's create one more thing. Create fetch data. Okay, one, or I'll say mat using lc maintainer. Okay, see, if I just keep like that and double click on this. Okay, so it says create the object, save it. I'll use in the my existing include and click OK. See here, now you are giving a parameter here, PLC maintainer. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll write that piece of code over here, not there. Okay, Control X, save it, double click on that, and we can write that code here. Now we cannot use LC method over here. See, if I just simply activate it, okay, it will say LT method does not exist. Okay, see here, the error is coming. Okay, see that in fetch data, parameter number of form parameter is 0, number of actual parameters. Okay, so this is one of the error actually. So we have to give using here, fine. We are getting the error again, fine. So what we'll do here is we'll use cyclically this PLC maintainer, and see the output is gone. Why? Because it is behaving local. See that LC maintainer was global, but here it is local. Directly we can use this field, or what mostly we do is that we store this value in some local variable. Okay, type maintainer. Okay, and then we copy the value, whatever value is coming in this parameter. we do not directly utilize that, and we can utilize that also sometime. Okay, and then pass that lb matter over here. Now if I'll check activate, there is no error. Okay, display again some error is there, so let's see. So it's saying perform using different number of from in form. Okay, number of formal parameters is 0, number of actual parameters are 1. Okay, so what is formal parameters? Okay, so this is also one of the concept, and what is the actual parameter? So let's see that first, and then we'll resolve this error. Okay, so formal parameters, like when we are creating this perform, right? So the parameters which we are sending from here, see, we are sending the value into this in subroutines. We call it subroutine. Okay, just keep in mind this is subroutine. We are sending the value LC matter into the subroutine. So this is called the formal parameters. Okay, so this is a formal parameter we send this to uh, subroutines. Okay, so there is also a actual parameter. So what is actual parameter? That the value which is being stored. Okay, sorry, I'm saying or opposite. Just give me a second. The actual parameters are like what we are sending here, right? So these values which we are sending here, these are called actual parameters. Okay, and when we create this method here, okay, so that's the reason we are getting error, so we should not use this here. Okay, so the value we are using over here is, so this is actual parameter, and inside that when we, yeah, it's automatically gets created, it's called formal parameters. These parameters are formal parameters. Okay, so the interviewer might ask you that what is the actual parameters, what are the formal parameters. Okay, so you can answer that. Okay, so okay, so just check it again if any error. Okay, there is no error. Now it's fine. Activate the code. So that's got activated. If I go back, let's activate this piece of code as well. So that's also got activated and simply executed. So here we got the value 25 because we have passed it in hard coded value. See here, what we did is actually we created one local constant with the value 25. Okay, and that is our global variable, global constant. Okay, why it is global? Because it's there in the main program itself, so that's why it is a global program parameter. If it is there in some kind of subroutine here, right, then it will not be global, it will be low. If I create some value over here, then it will not be a global, it will be a local variable or local constant. Okay, and then later what we did is that we pass that local constant into our math subroutines. Okay, so if we go here in the subroutine, there we utilize this parameter and it behaves like a local one. Okay, inside that method, so it behaves like a local parameter. Okay, so this is one way we are sending the value to the subroutine. So what, when do we use it in the actual scenarios? Okay, so let's suppose we have some table data. Okay, and we need to find some value based on the, like we do for all entries, right? So at that time we are sending some values in that LT-MARA, and then we are getting the output as LT-MARC data. We fetch it, right? So we can do, what we can do is we can send this information and get the exact output. Okay, the other way can also be that we are sending this value. Okay, so this is our perform, and we have used the fetch data. What we can do is we can take out the data also, like we are doing the using, and then we have tables. Okay, so we have, if you want to send some value of LT-MARA. Okay, or I'll say LT-MARA is available. Okay, so let's create some kind of small structure. Okay, and fill some value. So let's use this only. We'll change this name to d by demo, and then let's create some table. lt demo, type table of d by demo, then wa demo, type d by demo. Okay, let's fill some information. wa underscore clear, w underscore demo. Okay, not here. We have just created the data. Now here, after the select, we'll be filling this information table. Okay, let's fill it manually once. Okay, Matnar equals to, I'll take this number. So I'll say 20. Okay, I'm not 20, and we have to complete the statement. Then mtart. So I'll say fert for now. Okay, we can use the actual data also, and then ersta. Today's date I'll giving, and then append to our lt demo and clear it. Okay, so we have filled one record into this table. Okay, we'll repeat it 2 times at least, so that we have two information available. Okay, so we have given 20 and 21, and this is same. Okay, so if I just go to debug mode, okay, let me show you in the debug mode. We got some error. Let's see. Okay, so this is it's saying that it is not there in the table. So for now, let's leave it. Okay, so it is activated. Okay, let me put some debugger here and simply execute, and let me take you to the debug mode. Let me reshare my screen. Okay, if you see here, if I click on the LT demo part, see here we have two records available. See, we have filled 20 and 21 with my mtar type FERT and FERT, and we gave the date as today's date 10/9/2023. Okay, now what we are planning to do is that we'll send this information to the fetch data, and based on this material we'll take the data outside. Okay, so 20 and 21 we are sending, so this also we can do in our fetch data thing. Okay, so yeah, so see this is the keyword actually, changing parameters. Okay, so this can be utilized in both way. We can send the value to this subroutine, and we can get the value also. Okay, so let's create this and you can see the difference actually. Okay, so if I just simply save it, and we have already created this subroutine, that's the reason we have to use it manually. So changing, okay, p underscore what was the value name we can give, lb underscore Matner. Just give me a sec. I will take the actual name actually. Okay, it's fine. P underscore LB Matner. So if I simply try to activate this code, it will give me an error. Why? Because LB Matner does not exist. See here, LB Matner is unknown, but there is a field with LC Matner. So LB Matner is not there in the program. So where it is not there, when we are passing it, okay, we have not created the LB Matner. So what we can do is we can create one local variable here. Okay, LB underscore Matner, type Matner. Okay, and here we can fill the value, LV maintainer equals to LC maintainer. So whatever value is there in the LC maintainer, which will be filled over here. And let's see if any error. See, there is no error over here. So see, I told you right that if you are using something in the local thing or the methods, those variables should be available locally or either globally. Okay. Without that, we cannot use those. So let's try to activate it. If any error, see, errors are not bad actually. Okay, it makes us to learn more, and we try to see the programs. Okay, where it can go wrong. So it helps us actually to learning and the debugging skills as well. Okay, now we are in this program. So what we'll do is that we'll try to change the value of this parameter. Okay, so how we can change the values of this parameter? So here let's do one thing. I'm not going to. Okay, this is fine, and then let's try to change the value of to these parameters. Okay, so I'll give two values manually. Okay, we can also take the output and do the processing, and then we can send the value over here. Then here I'll giving manually. So I'll be giving a normal what we call a material number called 50. Okay, 1 2 3 15. Okay, and the next one. Okay, the value which we have got, the PLB maintainer, I'll be giving that value back to 51. Okay, so let's see. Okay, which one is being used. Save it, check it, see it should not give any error. There's no error. Activate the code. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll put a debugger over here. Okay, so that it will be able you will be able to understand clearly what we are trying to do. And please be focused so that you are not missing it. Okay, and then here what I'll do is okay, we can put some kind of debugger here also. So I'll put external debugger over here, and if I go to the main program, execute it. Okay, and if I simply execute, because we are not worried about what we are providing in the selection screen, right? We are using the constant value currently. Okay, so let me reshare my screen to you. Now we are in debug mode. So debugging makes the skills bit better. Okay, now if you'll see here, what is being passed in LC maintainer and LB maintainer. See, we are passing the same value. How? Because LC maintainer we are getting from the outside, and LV maintainer value we have used the same value of LC maintainer over here, right? So the both the values are same only 25 and 25, right? Now let's if I press F5, it will go inside the subroutine. See here, it has come. Now what we have done is we copy this into LV maintainer. See, we have used LV maintainer there as well and here also, because it's a local constant, local variable. We are not getting the duplicate error that it's already defined or it's already created or something like that. Okay, that's the reason. If we have created it globally and again creating it here, we will get an error saying already created, use other name. Okay, for the variable. Simply F5. We are not worried about the data currently. Sorry, F5. Okay. Now, what was the value of PC maintainer? So PLC maintainer, which like first value, right? The first value, which was our constant, we had 25 right here, and the same is copied here. And PLB maintainer also 25. So now what we are doing is we are changing the values. Okay, whatever the processing we are doing, and we are sending it back to the main program. So that's where, see, now the values is 50. Okay, for LC maintainer, and for PLB maintainer the value is 51. Okay. So if I just simply delete it and let's see again, what's the value again? So the values are 50 and 51. Okay. If I go back to the, if I press F5 again, it will go back to the main method subroutine, which we have called here, right here. We have called it. It came here that all the processing of the code will be done, and then it came to end form. Now let's check the value of LC maintainer and LV maintainer. Okay, it got changed. So 50 and 51. The values are changed here, like 50 and 51. So we are getting the value change over here. I have to see actually how this using is changing the values. It should not actually, but let's see actually. We can discuss this in the next session actually. This is not expected behavior, but let's see that. Okay. So that's it. We'll be doing this, and I'll tell you more again about the subroutines, how we can pass the tables data, how we can retrieve the table data. Okay, what are the reference variable, what is the value variable. Okay, so all those things will be, this moderation will take at least 2 to 3 sessions. So please be there, and then we can connect in the next session. Okay, so if any doubt, you can say in the comment section. That's all for today, guys. Thank you.